a lot of people think like, I don't really care if I lose muscle because I just want to be skinny. But trust me, you care. Muscle equals metabolism. The less of it you have, the slower your metabolism is. That's why you have to go into your fat loss journey with the end game in mind, because if you're only focusing on the weight, you're not realizing what you're doing, and that's why those cycles of weight loss, you're looking different every time. Fat loss usually uses more strategic methods, slower pace, with the end game in mind, which your end game is keep as much muscle as possible. That is your goal. Lose fat is your goal when you're going fat loss. Weight loss, you're not paying attention to the fat factor, and you're not paying attention to the muscle factor. So you're just losing whatever as long as the scale goes down. Muscle equals metabolism. So if you're just going about it randomly and not focusing on maintaining that muscle in the way that you're eating, in the way that you are working out, then you are losing muscle mass and your metabolism is getting slower every single time. Every time. So every time you go through the cycle, you gain the weight and then you lose the weight, and then you gain the weight and then you lose the weight. Every time you get to that weight loss, so what you get, if you're like at 150 and you gain 20 pounds and then you lose that 20, when you get back to 150, you are not still burning the same amount of calories that you were at 150 before. You're burning less because your metabolism has gone down. And every time you do that, you're burning less and less and less. So you're so far away from what that 150 was to you the first time than you are the 7th time you lose the weight. So that's why it's really important not to get so caught up in what worked the first time or in how great you look the first time, because you'll notice that you start looking softer, your bones are getting weaker, different things are happening because you're not paying attention to what you're losing. Okay, so even if you're getting smaller, muscle is still being lost, and you will have to lose more weight every time just to look the same way that you did. So the way that you looked at 150 when you gain, when you lose again, you're gonna have to go below 150 to look that way again. And it just keeps going. You just have to keep knocking it down more and more each time. The scale can move in any direction or stay exactly the same, and you can still be progressing. Whereas when you're focusing on weight loss, you feel like a failure if the scale goes anywhere but down. If it stays the same, you feel like a failure. If it goes up, you feel like a failure. If it goes down, you feel like a success. But like we said, because you're not paying attention to what type of weight you're gaining, that doesn't necessarily mean that, or losing, that doesn't mean that it's a success. When you're focusing on fat loss, if you gain muscle, the scale may go up, but that also means that your metabolism went up, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting bigger, because muscle is what's going to help you be smaller, and that's going to help your metabolism. I've seen people lose zero pounds on the scale and look like they've lost 20. Like, it really does happen. So you really, if you don't have that focus, then you just let the scale do what it does, or you don't pay attention to it at all, and you actually start looking better and better and better, because it doesn't matter which direction the scale goes, you're winning. The biggest thing about weight loss and fat loss is that weight loss is typically, it's gonna tempt you the most because it offers, at least in the very beginning, and that beginning part is what gets stuck in our head, it offers the biggest immediate payoff. It's so quick and it's so easy and it's so satisfying that you cannot get past how quick and easy it was the first time. And so when you think about, or you hear me talking about, or you read about this whole fat loss process, it's like, why would I do that when I can do this and look great in half the time? But remember, you're actually looking worse because it's not lasting. So even though the fat loss route is sometimes, it's a little bit more confusing because you're like, I don't know if anything's happening because the scale isn't cooperating, and I don't understand why I'm like retaining water after my lifting session yesterday. And so it's kind of confusing. So that makes the weight loss aspect so tempting. It makes you want to just continue to go back to it. Even when you know better, you just start getting so confused and frustrated when you're on the fat loss route. That thing, when it comes to the aesthetics and the way that you look, most of us are chasing a look and not a number. So I really encourage you to not get so wrapped up in the numbers that you don't pay attention to how those numbers are going to make you look, because most of us don't go around with like our weight stamped on our foreheads or a size tag like attached to our shoulder, like this is what size I am and this is what weight I am. We look in the mirror and we see ourselves. Other people look at us and they see us. So if you're trying to actually look better, then you need to actually follow the methods that help you to look that way, and understand that if you're only chasing weight loss, that look is going to constantly elude you